major allegation by United Nations against Israel. The UN mission in Lebanon has accused Israel Defense Forces of targeting its observation post tower. UN says that Israeli Merkava tank has fired at the UN watchtower, resulting in 2 UN peacekeepers injured. UN accuses Israel of firing at its surveillance cameras and disabling them. The UN concedes rockets are being fired at Israel, including targeting of civilian areas from southern Lebanon. This is a big update there, with the UN accusing Israel of firing at its CCTV cameras. A big allegation that's now coming to fore. We know that Israel and the UN have been at loggerheads. In the latest, we hear the UN has accused Israel of trying to target its towers, with CCTV cameras being damaged and 2 of their UN workers injured. UN mission in Lebanon accusing Israeli Defense Forces of deliberately targeting its observation post tower. UN says Israeli Merkava tank fired at the UN watchtower. That resulted in at least 2 UN peacekeepers getting injured. The UN accusing Israel of firing its surveillance cameras and disabling them. UN conceding that rockets are being fired. Israel has been targeting civilian areas from around southern Lebanon. Let me cut across to Ashutosh, who's currently in Lebanon, joining us for more on that. Ashutosh, please give us more details on UN claiming that their towers have been targeted, their CCTV cameras have been damaged, and this could have been a deliberate attempt to destabilize UN observing the war situation unfold.
Well, the UNILEF was responsible to maintaining the peace at the bordering areas in the southern Lebanon, between Israel and Lebanon, and that was under Article of 1701 of the United Nations. And that, but what has happened, the moment Israeli troops started advancing towards the northern Lebanon, and that particular point, whereas there are the camps of the UNILEF, the Hezbollah, because it was responding to Israeli forces. The UNILEF says the Israeli forces are deliberately making the UNILEF headquarters or UNILEF base camp as a shield. Subsequently, the response Israeli says that now the Hezbollah actually are targeting the UNILEF forces. So clearly on that conflict, the Hezbollah says because of these Lebanese, the Israeli forces are deliberately going to that area, and in this crossfire, actually, it is the UNILEF which has got in the crossfire of Hezbollah and Israeli forces. But more importantly, what we see now, the response is coming from the United Nations, which is equally blaming Israeli troops as well. There is injuries, 2 of these UNILEF forces. There are some Indian forces also part of this UNILEF mission. They are safe at the moment. There was minor attack on the base camp in the southern Lebanon. Only there is a 2 injury, 2 casualties, minor casualties. But if the situation escalates further near the Mediterranean line in the southern part, this entire belt, we have the deployment of the UNILEF forces. So if the escalation continues, clearly the number and the situation will become more grim as we speak, because what we see, the kind of offensive the Israelis carrying out in Lebanon, not only are restricted to the southern part only. Last night, here in the Beirut capital city where we are at the moment, just barely a few meters in the downtown area. First time there was also the airstrike in the capital city, and that led to killing of 18. So one side the escalation in the southern part where the bordering areas are being struck, the UNILEF is caught in the crossfire, and now the offensive even coming to the capital city of Beirut.
All right, well, we're looking at the UNIFIL, which is the United Nations interim forces that are currently stationed in Lebanon. 2 of their watchtowers, we hear, according to their statement, has been targeted by Israel. A tanker has been targeted on right at that building there, with their CCTV cameras damaged and 2 of their peacekeepers injured.